Across the Board with Ian the Colonel here on hawkradio.org and acrosstheboardradio.com. As always, bringing you the greatest bands in this country and every country across the world. I don't know, man. We've had a list of just incredible bands year after year after year, and there are some bands that not only put out one good album or two good albums, but just keep note for note, every single song is good. And this is something that I harp on, that, there are so many bands, I think, that fulfill their obligations, their record obligations. They just go in the studio and, I don't know, I like this riff and blah, blah, and, put some stuff down. But there are some bands that actually take the time to write good music.
And this is one of those bands. Absolutely. Right now on the line, we have Lee from Pop Evil on the line. How's it going, Lee?
How's it going, you guys? Thanks so much for having me on.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, thanks for being on. So, like I was alluding to, Lee, I think you're one of those bands that you actually take the time and, write good songs. Talk about that process. From my point of view, I picture you guys sitting in there and saying, this isn't good enough. Let's make this a little bit better. Or this one is a decent track but not ready to be released yet. Talk about that process.
Yeah, well, we just try to, first of all, make sure all the band members kind of contribute, make sure everyone's kind of bringing in their ideas and making it a band process. I mean, I think that's one of the fun things about being in a band is trying to write songs with your brothers, and we're very, very, again, homegrown, I guess, so to speak. We're very blue-collar, being from the state of Michigan, that we all grew up together. We all kind of expect a lot of things out of each other, and obviously the longer that the band keeps going on, the more time we get to spend on the songs, making sure the hooks are, of course, number one, very catchy, and of course, musically, just trying to grow with our music ability, and most importantly, with the kind of musicians we are in the studio.
Yeah, and you have to nowadays. I mean, a lot of people say there's a fine line between selling out and being yourself, and I think there's a much thicker line than people really give it, like, a real good amount of notice, because if you don't try to make something catchy, no matter whether it's your flavor or not, it's not going to sell. If it doesn't sell, you can't be successful. If you can't be successful, why are you doing this? So, and I think you guys definitely have made that so that you have the catchy hooks and you have great songs. Like one of the songs you guys did that really caught my attention was Monster You Made. It's such a fantastic song. And you guys also did an acoustic version of that song. And I know, which do you tend to prefer? Do you tend to prefer more of the acoustic sound because it sounds a little more from the heart, or would you rather have the whole band there?
I think they're both unique, depending on the I guess where the show is. If we're playing a little smaller venue, and it's kind of always nice to show the acoustic side that the band has. We're very influenced by acoustic guitars, and some of my favorite songs growing up, were always the acoustic versions. You had to buy the bootlegs, or you had to listen to the radio station just to hear it. So I know the fans really, get closer to the songs the more you have acoustic versions. But, we play the live full version, obviously, every night. And just one of those songs that definitely has helped me personally. And it's just a fun one to play. It's fun to see the crowds grow day in and day out. Just everyone singing those lyrics to Monsters is just incredible.
And that's a valid point you bring up, too, is that you normally, to get those songs, you would have to buy B-sides or buy a single and find those or get bootlegs. So that does make it a lot better for the fans as well.
Sure.
Speaking of bootlegs,
you
happen to be quite a Michigan football fan, correct?
Yes, I am. We're big sports fans, obviously big football fans for sure.
Yeah, talk a little bit about, obviously you guys are from Michigan, and you wrote the song Victors that has parts of the fight song in there.
No, Big House.
Big House, yeah, I apologize. Victors is the Michigan fight song. Yeah, other way around.
It'd be nice if they wrote that, right?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah. Talk about your affinity for the team. I assume you're one of those guys, like the Colonel here is a huge San Antonio Spurs and Green Bay Packers fan, and he talks about the team as we. Yeah. Like he actually plays for the team. I assume you guys are like that as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're big, obviously big football fans, obviously being from Michigan, big Wolverine fans. And, had an opportunity to record, a song. I know we were dabbling on some lyrics and a song. It was kind of for fun. And, every time we hear see a football game or hear one on TV, they're always playing like pop music in the stadium. And it's just kind of offensive to us because, we're from Michigan. It's kind of a rock capital. And, with the news, Kid Rock. And we just thought, it needs more rock. Why don't we try to come up with this awesome rock anthems for the Wolverines. Just kind of go from there. And I had an opportunity with Johnny Kaye, and you just could tell it was just already just bigger than you.
So
It just kept turning into something awesome and something great. And then next thing you know, the university heard it, picked it up, and they played it every home game last year. They've got some big plans to do some things with it this year as well. So it's awesome to be able to give back to your state and your football program in a musical way. Definitely cool.
So this makes you a Panthers. I'm sorry, a Panthers. It makes you a Lions fan as well, right?
I'm a diehard Lions fan. Yeah, I actually had the luxury of hanging out with Tom Crabtree last time we played in Green Bay, and brought us in the locker room and kind of showed us how they do it. And I'm just like, don't you dare turn me into a Packers fan, Tom.
What?
So I kind of like the Packers now because I didn't know that they're Green Bay Packer Pop Evil fans, so I can't be mad about that.
See, you got to come to my side. Then.
Yeah,
See, it's my team.
I
don't care what happens.
I don't know if it would have come fully to your side, but
Oh well, at least I
definitely got respect.
Got to give me credit for trying. I'm sorry.
They look good this year too.
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson.
They look good.
Megatron.
They look good.
The only team I am scared of right now in the NFC is the Detroit Lions. They absolutely scare the pee out of me.
I'm telling you, it's exciting to have such young energy there in Detroit, and it's just good for the city, and it's good for the conference, and we're excited. Obviously I'm a big NFL guy and love great football, and a good friend of mine that's the defensive captain for the Michigan Wolverines, and Mr. Mike Martin just got drafted for the Tennessee Titans.
Very nice.
So now I guess I got to be a little bit of a Titan fan. So I got to support Mike. So I got to support my boy. But always just born and raised, going to the stadium, going to the Wolverine games, and going to the Lion games with my family, and that's what sports is about. Kind of being raised with your family and your teams, and it's kind of cool.
And you guys have an affinity to be associated with sports as well, because Last Man Standing was used in the NHL Finals last season, and then also the same song was featured in I believe it was premiered with a Frank Mir training video. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. I know before Frank's fight with Crow Cop, he wanted to come out to Last Man Standing, and that kind of springboarded the song. Last Man Standing was around for a long time after that. I think every sport pretty much used it at some point, whether it was on TV with that sporting event or whether it was in the stadiums. It's just always fun. It never gets old to hear your songs in the stadium with people cheering on their favorite sporting team. That's I grew up, I went to school on a basketball scholarship, so, it's kind of, and I had a nice career-ending knee injury, so in order to get a little bit of sports love now through the music is definitely something that's important to me and something I definitely pride myself in, pride the band in.
What were you? You guard? What were you? 3, 4? What
I was a shooting guard. I was a shooting
You're
guard.
two.
I think I averaged 33 points a game in high school. I was good. I went to full ride, all that stuff, and then I just had the ACL. I could have played and pushed, but then I had to make a decision. Do I want to go music or do I want to try to let the hoop dreams kind of go? And I figured my chances of beating LeBron James one-on-one weren't very good.
Who?
I went with the music choice.
Did you play at Michigan or at a school in Michigan?
No, I was recruited by Jay Smith, who was the coach at the time. I ended up playing in Grand Valley State. Division II.
Absolutely.
In Grand Valley. I played a little bit, dabbled in a little bit of football with Coach Kelly, who's now the coach at Notre Dame.
Excellent.
He was coaching at Grand Valley State back when I was playing. So
you got skills in all kinds of things, man.
Yeah, and most people don't get to live out one dream, let alone you've had the opportunity to possibly live out two, and that says a lot about you as well. And
definitely, man, I've been blessed. I think that sports drive, though, that passion has definitely helped Pop Evil persevere with all the obstacles we've had. So it's definitely, I think, plays a big role in how we live our day-to-day here at Pop Evil, Camp 101 Pop Evil here.
Does playing in front of big crowds like that and having that pressure on you in sports, does that help prepare you for life in music, when you have great shows or if you have bad shows and just dealing with fans and the pressure of being out there every night and performing?
Yeah, I think the pressure just comes with the adrenaline, and you just kind of do what you were born to do. We've always said, people with celebrities that I know that are in the business, like you're either born to be a performer or you're not. Can you get better at it? Yeah, but you just got to have that desire to want to be in front of that crowd. But I think it's definitely helped. The sports have definitely helped with that mentality when you play for a packed house of 5,000, and then the very next day you play for 10 people. That's what this rock and roll business is about. Sometimes you play packed shows and then you're off playing slow shows. There's cities and states and towns out there that still, they don't have rock radio stations anymore. They have all this pop music and and what they're doing there. So it's important to really get out there and be seen, even if you're playing for 10 people and if you're playing for obviously 10,000 people. It's important to make sure you can have a work ethic and an emotional mentality that allows you to make sure you're on the grind and you realize the bigger picture here. And I think that's where the sports really help.
And you've toured with numerous bands over the years: Drowning Pool, Trust Company, Finger Eleven, some other band named Judas Priest. I don't think anyone's ever heard of before as well.
Don't know them.
What band
Sure.
haven't you toured with that would be a dream come true? Touring with Judas Priest is huge, and more than likely is that. But if there was another band you had to pick, what would be the dream band to tour with, past or present?
Well, it'd be Five Finger Death Punch, and we're getting ready to tour with them here this summer. They've just been dominating the active rock and roll format here at radio, and just great guys. I know we've played with them, here and there, and chill with the guys every now and then, but we really haven't had a time to really tour with them. And I think there needs to be more heavy metal and more hard rock bands teaming up together to create more opportunities for each other. I know that Popular is very influenced by metal, and I'm sure they're influenced by hard rock as well. It's nice to be able to team up instead of taking these subgroups that are metal and subgroups that are hard rock and kind of, breaking down these barriers and saying, hey, we need each other. Our business is getting shorter and smaller, it seems, by the day. So the more I think we team up, especially on this new tour this summer, which is the Trespass America Festival, which is, again, got Killswitch Engage on it as well. And again, we're big fans of them. And to be able to play with these guys and let their crowds know that, hard rock and metal are very much alive and very much supportive of each other. The more that they can see us as bands supporting each other, the more the hate will stop within the fans, and hopefully, the majority of the hate will stop within the fans anyways, and we'll get more support, and hopefully that'll create more opportunities for both genres, and I think that's what we need for our survival. It's important.
Across the board, again, talking with Lee from Pop Evil. Now, Lee, you led right into something I was going to ask about. My next question was going to be, a lot of people talk about rock is dead these days, and it's hard to define what some people mean by that. I would say that there are a lot of songs that are too poppy in rock, and that they are getting more play these days than actual. There are a lot of great rock bands that just aren't being heard these days. What are your feelings on that? Being an international recording artist, do you feel that rock is dead, and define that?
Well, I definitely think it's had a shot in the stomach. I think it's important, for bands to educate their fans. Obviously, I try to support any band, any musician that can actually play their instrument and get out there and is willing to take some risks. Obviously, we're not going to all like everyone's musical interpretations. I think even Popular fans probably will tell you they don't like this song or they love this song better than this one. I think that's just human nature, But for us, we try to educate those fans, especially for new bands and rock and roll bands. It's important to, spend your 99 cents. Instead of, this it's only $1, it's not going to matter. It's very important. That's what record labels that are bands that do have record labels or record deals, whether they're of the independent nature or whether they're national, whether they're national record recording contracts. It's important that those labels and those people who are funding and budgeting those new bands and that rock and roll music, whatever it is, that they see that it's having an impact. The money is hemorrhaging, at a big margin here with rock and roll bands, with rock and roll companies. That the more they see the support with the fans, the more they're going to spend on, rock and roll and better rock and roll. And that's just it. 10 years ago, with the success we've had at radio, we would have probably $1 million budgets to work with the best of the best. Well, now we don't have those kind of budgets, so you don't always get a chance to work with the A-list producer. We're lucky we get to work with Johnny Kaye, who's been amazing. He did Disturbed, Three Doors Down, he did the new Megadeth, Stained. So, but you never know how long you're going to get to work with guys like that. I know they don't want to spend money on music videos because they don't feel that music videos are relevant for rock radio. With our new music video, though, it just had over 200,000 hits though in the past 3 days. So I think we proved there that videos still are very, very important. And it's just about educating your fans and taking that responsibility on as a musician and as a front man. It's my job to make sure I educate as well as entertain, and hopefully do our part to bring rock and roll back to the mainstream.
Well said. Across the board with Ian the Colonel, with Lee from Pop Evil joining us, and you've had two successful albums. Lipstick on the Mirror came out in 2008. War of Angels came out just late last year. What's next for you guys? I mean, you got a long tour coming up with Five Finger Death Punch and the Trespass America tour. What else is going on when you guys are done with that tour? Is it ready to start working on a new album?
Well, we heard, maybe a fourth single, which is incredible. Whenever you can have more than one single, it's always an honor, and it's always exciting. But, so we heard that, we're going to push a fourth single here during that tour and see what happens with that. And then hopefully, probably by Christmas we'll start getting back in and writing and figuring out where the songs are shaping the album. And then hopefully January, February we'll start recording. And then, single and album out towards next spring, hopefully. That'd be the dream situation. But, in this business, nothing ever really works as planned. So we're just going to kind of make that our kind of long-term goal and kind of work towards that and just kind of let the music kind of take us from there.
Lee, if you knew the world was wrapping up in 5, 10, 15 minutes, what is the last song that you would want to hear? Yours or anybody else's? You can hear it, you can perform it. What are the last musical notes?
I'd have it be one of ours, just because you want to leave your legacy, and whatever that is, you got to go down with the songs that you write, because that's at the end of the day, that's what I love about rock and roll. That's what we all love about rock and roll. It's who we are as people. It's what we stand for, and it's what identity we leave on this world. So I'd definitely play one of ours.
Would it be Next
I guess
Life?
If it was right now. With that?
Would it be Next Life or?
Oh, Next Life. It might be Next Life. It might be Last Man Standing. Making sure we did what we did. It might be Monster You Made. It'd be a spur, or maybe I would just try to see if I could cut up 30 seconds of all those songs and make them, last for 3 minutes or 3 minutes, 30 seconds, and then kind of play that.
Another new answer. I've never heard that one. That's a great idea.
No one's ever said a montage, so that's good.
Yeah, a little montage. Maybe cut up 30 seconds of each of those songs, all our hits, and just kind of, there it is. Here's the one song. Because I think they all depict, a piece. I mean, I think this world is nothing but memories at the end of the day either. We think about flashbacks and things in life that we love, things in life that kind of hurt us, and I think that's what War of Angels, our new album, has been about. It's that journey, that battle of those angels and our demons to just find out who we are as people.
Yeah, well, and Fatboy Slim, when he was on the show, actually said that he would mix up a song to make it longer, but it was just like one song he would repeat in a loop and everything. So
you could prolong.
We can get him to redo Pop Evil there. That'd be interesting. So, Lee,
yeah, I like that.
We appreciate it, man. Hopefully, we get to see you on the road sometime. We can play a little one-on-one here, man. I'd be maybe a point guard. I have deadly knees.
That would be great. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to drive you to the hole. I'll probably just stand back, shoot the three, but I'm in.
Fair enough.
Trust me, he can't guard the three. I know from experience.
Yeah, I can't guard that well. So it'd
be maybe a little sky hook. Maybe a little sky hook.
Oh, come on. You got both sides on the right and left, or just what are we talking about here?
I'm going to favor more the right.
Okay, all right.
I got that bird fade.
My left is probably not up to par like it used to be. I haven't played in a couple of years for sure. So
yeah, neither have I. Colonel, you said you got that bird.
I got that bird fade away.
Is that because you're white? Is that the only thing you
got
have?
The bird fade away?
No, just
no.
You'd be tough to cover. It'd be tough to cover.
I got that crustache he had back in the day.
Yeah, right. So, Pop Evil, they're out right now. Looking forward to the new single. Yep, War of Angels is out. Go out and buy the entire album. Don't just buy the 3 or 4 singles. Buy it all. And again, experience music. Don't just listen to it. Find these guys on the road. Listen to them. Lee, we appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate it. You guys are great, man. Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate it. We'll be back here in a few minutes with Ian the Colonel on Across the Board on hawkradio.org.
And acrosstheboardradio.com.